Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates and the first monthly Senate Q&A. I hope everything is up and running properly right now. Well, this isn't really a new thing. I've done these for almost a year now for my Patreon Q&A. The difference is simply that now with the new sponsor YouTube system, I can actually have everyone watching the stream, but I'll make sure that I can only take questions from the senators or the sponsors. So that's how it's going to work. I'm going to take both from Patreon because I am kind of in a transition phase, so I didn't actually respond to these. So I've got these I'm going to answer, and then I've got Discord here, that this is where the most of the questions are going to come from. And then of course I'm going to take it live from the chat as well. So I'm going to go kind of back and forth. I have a lot of questions to answer actually, so I'm quite excited. A lot of them were very interesting and things that I kind of wanted to talk about anyways, so it's perfect that that I can actually do it now during a stream. So I'm gonna switch over to let's see if we have some. I know that's Snarky Ryan, Senate Central, Gary Gully, a couple of the senators in the chat right now. So I'm gonna flip over to this screen so you guys can see a little bit better the questions I'm actually gonna be answering. Oh, Andrew is here as well. Welcome, welcome. I'll bring the chat back up later so when I answer your questions. But now I'm going to get through some of the Patreon questions first. And this is of course going to be uploaded to the channel afterwards, so most people are probably going to watch this Q&A afterwards. But let's get started. First of all, we have a question from Justin here. Are you excited for Battlefront 2? Silly question, of course you are. Also, what do you think is going to happen to The Last Jedi? Well, first of all, yes, I'm super excited for the next Battlefront game. And what do you think is going to happen in The Last Jedi? I honestly don't really know. I'm kind of open. I'm trying to like speculate, but on one hand, I feel like it's kind of no point. I just hope and think that it will not be a carbon copy of The Empire Strikes Back. I feel like they played it safe with The Force Awakens simply because they know that that would work, but now they can branch out and do something brand new instead. So that's what I'm hoping for. And next up, we have a question from Waltimus Prime. Considering that Battlefront 2 will most likely feature the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy, how much of the current game do you think it will make it into the next game? 80%, 50%? I think that if I know DICE right and the way they worked with the previous Battlefield games and so on, I don't think they're going to copy over the maps straight over. But in that case, I think they might use the same assets from the same planets and then make new maps. And maybe some heroes could go over, because I mean, a Star Wars game without Darth Vader or Luke, that wouldn't really make sense. So I think they will probably switch that around. I mean, keep those. As for the rest, percentage-wise, it's quite hard to say. Like, I would say heroes, maybe they'll keep 50% of them. Maps, maybe 0. And planets, maybe 50%. I guess somewhere around there. Moving on, we have a question from Barf. I'm just going to see, can you guys see the questions? Yeah, you should be able to see them on the screen. We have a question from Barfu. Though I'm happy we're getting a new Battlefront in 2017, it seems like they are being allowed a lot less development time than the original Battlefront, considering they've said it's going to be bigger. Do you think it's enough time to give us a polished game? I think they actually have more time, because for the first game, they got like the whole license and everything back in 2013, so they had 2.5 years to create the game completely from scratch. Which means that, and this time they probably planned the game a lot more than 2.5 years. They could probably start planning, like at least to the planning stages of this game before like the last game was even released. And then since they saw that the last game sold so many copies, they probably figured that, well, we can put a lot more resources to the next game. So I think they probably had, if you talk about man hours, I think this game is going to have a lot more development time than the previous one. And at top of that, we have 3 studios working on it. So I don't think you're right about that. I think we're going to get a lot bigger game this time. Completely different question again from Barfu. How much of the new canon do you personally follow? Books, comics, shows? I don't read any books and comics. I kind of want to get into it, but I mostly watch Alex from Star Wars Explained when he recaps those with all the important stuff. I do watch the Rebel shows, Clone Wars. Well, the Clone Wars is over, but I do watch the Rebel show, all the movies, and as I said, I kind of read up on canon by looking at YouTube videos. So I guess I follow the canon kind of well. Let me just flip over and say hello to the Veil Echo. And a couple of moderators, Daniel and Synergis Knappen is here as well. I keep forgetting how to pronounce your name. And Nightbot is here. And Ump, is that how I pronounce your name? I think so. Is here as well. But I'm going to keep going through the Patreon questions. And before we go over to the Discord questions. And then we have the chat questions. And Code Herobrine is here as well. Welcome. A lot of senators in the chat. It's good to see. This system works so much better than when I had on Patreon, because then I had to do an unlisted stream and like 2 people watched it, whereas now I have a lot of people actually here, which is really cool. So let's see, what was the next question? Do you think the Star Wars original trilogy and the sequel trilogy should get a remastered, rescanned 4K release on Blu-ray? And should Disney release the original version of the original trilogy in home media? About 4K, honestly, I'm not the kind of person who cares too much about it. It's like 1080p crisp quality, that's good enough for me, to be honest. But I do think the original version, like the super original version, should be released. Like, why not? People want to see it. Like, I don't see Disney can make some free cash from it, so I think so. And then let's see. I think Elliot should do a 24-hour stream. Maybe sometime if I get some celebration of some type. And now I can actually say, will you be going to Star Wars Celebration this year? Yes, I will be going. I will probably announce it in a separate video, but for those of you watching now, I will be going to Star Wars Celebration and I will be covering all the reveals on location. I can actually show you guys, those of you who don't follow me on Twitter, I've got like a mobile streaming setup. Let's see, I did post a picture. Yeah, here it is. This is kind of how I'm gonna stream it. I have my phone hooked up to a selfie stick. I never thought I would buy a selfie stick. And then I have a power bank to charge it with, and then I have this microphone, which is basically the one I have on here. So I can, because the phone audio like is really bad, but when I have this one, it actually sounds pretty good. Like the audio is gonna be good, but the video quality is probably gonna be meh. But it all depends on how good internet I can get there. So I'm really excited to go there and hopefully meet a lot of you guys as well. And then we have, when it's a 6 hour long, from Marcus, 6 hour long 125k stream incoming. Oh, I completely forgot about that, to be honest. I should probably fix that soon. I didn't play Battlefront until June, so I'm not sure about this. How did developers explain why 9ab had a A280C on the outer rim poster? I actually don't know. Did he have that? Because I can't answer that question. I'm sorry, I don't really remember. Oh, okay, wait. That's not 800. Okay, it might have been the pulse cannon though. They're kind of similar, but I'm not sure. Let's see. Based on the happenings before the game that released in 2015, when do you think you will play a version of the Battlefront 2? I'm thinking if there's a playtest in Stockholm this Thursday. Oh, this was posted 3 weeks ago. So yeah, basically they've announced that EA Play is going to be a place where you can play the next Battlefront game, and that's probably going to be the first time the public can play it, I'm guessing, and also probably the first time they will show gameplay. So that's my guess. How far ahead of the Death Star livestream did DICE contact you and offered it? This is kind of funny. I don't think I've said that before, but when they did the Bespin, yeah, when Star Wars HQ did the Bespin stream when I was in LA, Matt told me like already there that I was going to do the Death Star stream, which was like 3 or 4 months. And people kept tweeting me about it, tweeting EA Star Wars, like, let Elliot do the Death Star stream. And they did like Reddit posts about it and all that kind of stuff. And I wasn't allowed to say it, so I didn't respond to it, but then I could reveal it like a week before the stream or something. So I knew it for months, but I couldn't say it. It was kind of funny. And so I did know it basically like from the Bespin release. I knew that I was going to do the Death Star stream in Sweden. So that was pretty cool. But those are all the Patreon questions. Now we move on to where the most of the questions will come here from Discord. So let's start off with TechnoGeek658 who asks, what made you start a YouTube channel? Hello there, Casey Moore in the chat. Another senator has joined. What made me start a YouTube channel from the first place was probably just that I wanted to share gameplay. But then I kind of grew into really like making videos and talking about stuff. So the reason to why I started this channel was because I had a couple of not really successful channels. Like I had 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers on the best one. And then when they announced, like a couple of months before they announced the Battlefront game, I kind of gave up on that channel, and I was like, I really want to give YouTube a go, but I don't know what I should do. What can I do that people will watch? And then they announced Battlefront, and I really wanted to do news videos about the game, but I just didn't know what to report on. Like I had seen the Destiny channels doing really good, so I was like, this is perfect. I played Battlefront so much when I was a kid. I know a lot about Star Wars. Let's make a channel dedicated about Battlefront, although there's 2.5 years left until the game was released. So that's why I made this channel, simply. What character / event would you like an anthology movie over? Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Han Solo, so I would much rather have seen something like Yoda before, like a really old, like a really young Yoda, or Obi-Wan, or someone like Cad Bane. Like I would rather see Cad Bane as a bounty hunter and what happened to him after the Clone Wars or before the Clone Wars. There's a lot of characters that I personally find to be a lot more interesting than Han Solo, but I can see that they would take one of the most popular characters and make a movie about him because, well, a lot more people are gonna watch, simply. What planets would you like to see in the next Battlefront? From Echo. That's a tough one because wait, let me full screen this, by the way, so you guys can see it more clearly. I'm not really sure what planets I would like, because we don't really know. Like if we're talking about the original trilogy, I would like them to keep at least like Hoth and Endor. Tatooine I'm kind of bored of. Sullust was cool because it was new, but then from the sequel trilogy, Takodana, well, Starkiller Base, the car, they don't actually fight on the car, which is the Rebel base, but I still think that would be a cool planet. And then if we have Clone Wars, Kashyyyk, Geonosis, a couple of them, it's really hard to pick like one of them. Okay, I'm gonna switch over to a quick question from the chat now, from one of the senators here, from Casey Moore. How much will it cover the other Star Wars games coming out? Also, after the Battlefront 2 playthrough, are you going to do a Battlefront 1 playthrough? I will cover the other Star Wars games, all the news up until the release, and then when they are released, I mean, it depends entirely on what type of game it is. If it's a single player game, I might just play it through on my channel from start to finish, like a let's play, and then there's not really gonna be a lot more content you can do because it's a single player game. Maybe show some Easter eggs or stuff like that. It's not like a multiplayer game that you can keep playing over and over and over, make tips and tricks and streams. So it's gonna be like up to the release, I'm gonna cover the news about it, and then I'm gonna play the game through, and then we'll see what kind of content I can create after that. Battlefront is like a lot easier to make content about since it's a multiplayer game. And after, the other question was, after the Battlefront 2 playthrough, are you going to do Battlefront 1? I think so. I might do a vote on like, should I do Battlefront 1? Should I do some other game? Wait, let me just switch back. Or should I do something else? I think I'm gonna do Battlefront 1, because if I know you guys, which I think I do, you will prefer to watch Battlefront stuff. Even if it's old games, I've noticed that you don't like other Star Wars games too much. So I will probably do a Battlefront 1 playthrough, and then after that I might do another Star Wars game. So the next question here from Discord is, let's see, from Snarky Ryan. If you were an entirely new character in Star Wars, what would your character be like, and what profession would you be in? Do they have YouTubers in the Star Wars universe? I could make like propaganda for Palpatine, for the Senate. Like I don't know if I would be a fun character like to watch in like a movie, but if I was just in the Star Wars universe in general, I don't know what would I like to do. Like if I could just do anything, because no matter if it's hard to do that or whatever. I think, I don't know, what would I like to be if I could choose anything? I want to be the Senate. I want to be Palpatine. Maybe not. I'm not the evil guy. So I honestly don't know. I would like to be like, that's something I said before. I want to be like a gray Jedi, because I really don't like the Jedi because of how like stupid rules they have. Like, oh, this guy has killed 1,000 planets, but you cannot kill him because that's not the way. That's not the Jedi way. Like that's kind of, you can still be a good person and kill people who have killed millions of innocent people, you know, if you know what I mean. So I would like to be like a Jedi, but kind of in between, if that makes sense. If you could add one hero and one villain to the game, who would you add? I'm assuming you mean this game then. And then, who would that be? That's a good question. I think I would probably go for Obi-Wan, but I don't know if I want old Obi-Wan, to be honest. Let's see, who would I want? I don't know, to be honest. It's kind of hard. As a hero, I can't come up with any, like in the current game, in the original trilogy, what I would want. It's actually kind of hard to say. Tarkin, I would like to see, but I'm not sure if he would be a fit on the battlefield. But I think I would like to see Tarkin, a very tactical, a bit like Krennic he would be. And then for the rebel side, I would, who would I pick? Who would I pick? That's hard. I honestly don't know. I'm gonna think a little bit about that. I'm gonna switch back quickly to the chat here to say hello to some new people. Ben is here. Django is here as well. So let's take a question from Eump. What do your parents think about you making a living by Battlefront videos? The thing is, I had a kind of good position because I grew up my channel when I was studying university. So it wasn't like I was like just sitting at home making videos and making no money from it, you know. I did it for fun for years and years, just as a hobby, you know. It still is a hobby, but then it started to really grow, and I was like, wait, what if I can work with this when I'm done with university? And they were like, mom thought it was something good. Dad was a little bit skeptical, but then they noticed that, okay, you're making enough money to live on it. Why not do it if you want to do it? Like, they don't mind. As long as I don't like come to them like, hey, I can't pay my bills this month, could you please help me? Which has never happened since I moved like 3 months ago, and I don't think that's gonna happen anyways because I have a lot of savings. So they are completely fine with this. They think it's pretty cool actually, especially since I get to go fly out to all these events and meet cool people, and they don't mind it at all. Andrew asks if you can have a selfie with me at Star Wars Celebration. Of course, just find me and take a selfie. I love selfies. I'll probably arrange a meetup with Alex from Star Wars Explained, Dash Star Wars HQ, Marvel Dave, and whoever we can gather up. We'll probably make like, but if you find me outside of that actual meetup, just come up and say hi to me. I think it's a lot of fun. This light Discord version, though, why wouldn't you use the night version? Oh wait, maybe I should switch to that. How do I switch to the night version? How do I switch to the night version? I don't even know. I usually have, I'm gonna just pull it off screen to be sure. Where do I find the night version? That's the question. Because I do usually have night versions in most games, but I don't even, oh wait, here we go. Here's a night theme, that looks a lot better, you're right. Here's a night theme. Do you ever, okay, one more question from the chat before we go back to Discord. Do you ever see yourself working with DICE or EA? I don't know, after getting to know a lot of people who work in the gaming industry, I can see how tough it is, so I'm not sure if I would want that. Like, I really like making videos, and I know that if you work at DICE or EA, you can't make videos about their games, so I would have to like shut down my channel altogether. So I don't think, I can't see myself doing that anytime soon. No, that's the simple answer to that. But now let's flick over to this again and see where were we. Echo, what events / characters would you like to see in the Battlefront 2 campaign? That's a very tough question. I want them to explore some part that we haven't seen before. That's all I can say. I don't care what it is. I don't just want to play through the things in the movie. Something new that is canon, that fills a gap, basically. That's how I would explain it. What era in Star Wars do you like the most and why? I would say the prequels, more specifically Revenge of the Sith. I love Palpatine, not just because of all the memes. If you go back to before all the prequel memes, you'll know that I still said the same thing. I saw Revenge of the Sith yesterday actually, and I realized how much I love that movie because of seeing how Palpatine twists everything, how he takes over the Senate, how he becomes the Senate, how he creates that, he deceives everyone, and like a 1,000-year-old plan of the Sith actually goes through thanks to him. So that's why I like the prequels. The movies are worse than the original trilogy, sure, but because of the events they cover, especially Revenge of the Sith, that's why I prefer that over everything else in Star Wars, simply. Hello to Jordan W, who's also another senator who has joined the chat. Technogeek asks how much preparation goes into a video or live stream. That's very different. Live streams don't like I've done a lot of preparation, like hours upon hours on like modifying stuff, getting a good setup. But when it's everything done, like right now, I'm pretty content with my setup. It usually just takes 10-15 minutes to prepare a stream, like make a thumbnail, fix the description, and then I gotta like switch out some data in my OBS so that it shows the right counters, and that's about it. But if I add new alerts and all that kind of stuff, it takes longer. For videos, it depends a lot. If it's some news that just came out like this, then it's really quick actually. I just record it, write up some bullet points, record a video, edit. Edit doesn't take very long either for that kind of news, because I usually just have gameplay and then a few images. Whereas some videos, like if you say the top 40 tips and tricks, that video took me weeks to create, so that took a lot longer. And top 5 plays is somewhere in between. They take quite a while because I need to go through a lot of clips, script a video, record a video, edit a video, so those take a lot longer than a normal news video, for instance. Wait, what's your favorite smell? From Code Herbine. What's my favorite smell? Probably like freshly baked donuts or something like that. I can't really come up with what else. I think I like something, yeah, freshly baked stuff. That's basically I would say. If you could add one Star Wars hero to Battlefront, okay, that's already something I answered. So let's see. From Dehydron, what feature from the old Battlefront games would you like to see in the next Battlefront? I'm assuming you mean something that wasn't in this game that you want in the next one. In that case, I would probably say more eras, if that counts as a feature, and also co-op vehicles. I think co-op vehicles are a lot of fun, especially if you're with a friend on like Skype or Discord, and you're like controlling a vehicle. You're like, oh, going to the right, take that base, and I'll give you cover fire and things like that. And also the hero picking system. I liked, maybe not exactly like those games, but I prefer reward based stuff. That might be unfair. I'm a pretty good player, so that would benefit me compared to maybe an average player. But yeah, I think that would be good because I don't like the hero pickups. I'm gonna switch back quickly for another question from the chat. Hello to Casey Moore and the Veil. Welcome to the stream. How do we help you grow the channel the best? That's really hard to say. I would say just share around my videos if you like them. Like if you like a video, if you comment a video, I don't think that affects much. At least that's what Google says. So if you just watch my videos, that helps me grow, because the more watch time, especially if you watch the entire videos, because the longer you watch, the more watch time I get and the more the videos get promoted. Otherwise, I would say just like sharing the videos on Reddit or social medias or whatever, it can reach people that it normally wouldn't reach. That's probably what would help the most. But otherwise, just keep watching. There's not too much you can do as far as I know. Next up, we have a question from Snarky Ryan. What other fictional universes do you like, if you do, besides Star Wars? I do like most of these kind of geeky universes, but I think Lord of the Rings was something I read all the books. I really love that universe, but it kind of like dies out because, you know, Star Wars comes up with new stuff. Lord of the Rings I haven't really cared about for a year or two. I was really into it when the Hobbit movies came out. I read the Hobbit book and all that kind of stuff, looked into all the little details about the lore. But that's probably my other favorite universe. And then I like, you know, the Marvel universe, the DC universe, but those I'm not that into. Like I've watched all the movies, I think, but I don't read the comics and I don't know all the background stories, so I just watch them and enjoy them, simply. Harry Potter, kind of the same thing. I read the books when those movies were released, but then after that I haven't really cared much more about it. What music do you like and dislike, besides mellow songs? I can't say I dislike. Like Swedish dance music, that's horrible, if you guys know what it is. What I like is mostly rock. I kind of, if you saw my list, it's a kind of mixed music list. But I would say mostly rock. Like Rammstein is probably my favorite band because of how freaking good they are live. It's insane. If you haven't seen them, you gotta see them. But sometimes I can listen to like grime songs, if you know what that is. Almost like, I don't know if it's called like hip hop rap ish, but like 90% of the music I listen to is rock. I can like In Flames, Suicide Silence, but I can like some more milder rock as well. I'm gonna bring up Dark Tranquillity is a great band as well. I could show you my list, I think. Or no, I can't. Okay, wait, it doesn't. Okay, never mind. But yeah, that's the kind of music I like. So let's move on. We have a lot of questions to go through here. The Veil asks, if the whole YouTube Battlefront update channel did not work out, what would you then do? If you mean in terms of like if I couldn't work with it, I would probably work programming games or programming in general. But if you mean just if Battlefront didn't work, I don't know, because that's like still the only thing I like doing. I really love doing Battlefront videos. Someone's like, can't you cover this, can't you cover that? But I don't have the same passion for other stuff. Like I've tried to do some Star Wars lore stuff I can enjoy doing, but otherwise I just like someone wanted me to do some more Battlefield 1 content, and I was like, I wanna do, if I do Battlefield 1 content, I do it just to stream it, to kind of give you my opinion. But I'm not that into that game that I wanna do like little detailed tips and tricks videos and things like that. Other people are better for that, but Battlefront I love so much that I can do that with. So I don't know if this channel didn't work out, I would probably work with something else, and then I would just have it on the side for fun. What do you say to new people who want to start a YouTube channel? Just see it as a hobby. Like I did videos for probably 5 or 6 years before I made a single dollar from it. It was just a surprise that I could make money from it. Some people I've talked to were like, oh, I want to make money from YouTube. Like, that's not how you start a channel. No one, I don't think I know anyone who started. Oops, wait, I gotta mute Facebook, sorry about that. So that's just do it for fun. But if you really wanna, like, even if you don't care about money but you want to have a successful channel, try to find something that no one else does. I did the mistake of making videos that a lot of people, other people did the first channels, which is why they didn't grow. And I don't have the most extraordinary personality that I could just base my channel off. So I decided to go with Battlefront because I knew a lot about it and no one else did videos about it pretty much. So that's something I would recommend. Thank you, Anne Leon. Glad you like my music taste. Did you see Sabaton in Stockholm? Yes, I have seen Sabaton once or twice, I think. So let's see. What advice? Oh, that's exactly the same. That's the same question I just answered. Oh, this is a good question from Anne. What percentage of the money from a super chat and sponsors do you actually receive in the end? And would you prefer super chat, sponsors, over using Streamlabs Patreon? Okay, so I'm gonna be completely transparent here for anyone who cares. Streamlabs donations, they don't take any cut. PayPal takes a little fee. So if you donate like $1, I think they take like 40 cents, which is a lot. But if you donate a bigger amount, like I don't know, $10, they still just take like 5% or something. So for bigger donations, Streamlabs is better. But it's a bit harder for me to do it bookkeeping wise, because I need to clump it together, because I still need to pay 50% tax on everything, even if it's a donation. I know it's stupid, but that's how it is in Sweden. Even donations counts as an income that I need to pay tax on, which is roughly 40-50%. But super chat and sponsors, YouTube takes a fixed 30%, no matter, 30% simply. So I do, if you like anything above like $5 is, I get more from Streamlabs. It's less of a cut simply, whereas super chats and sponsors give you guys cooler stuff. So it's kind of like, that's why I promoted sponsors. I know I'm gonna get less from it, but you guys get more of a reward, and I just didn't like Patreon so much, which is why I decided to use this instead, if that makes sense. And my network is kind enough, they don't take anything from super chats and sponsors, so they take 0%, which is really nice of them. I see you guys reacted on the tax. I can explain it, why not, if you're interested. Yes, basically standard tax is 30% in Sweden. Like if you're employed, you pay around 30%. But if I'm self-employed, so I need to, like, if you, let's say you're employed, they pay you 10,000, you need to tax 3,000 of that, but then the company pays on top of those 10,000, they pay like a employee fee to the state with like taxes and stuff that you never see, whereas when I need to pay those myself, which means that about 20% is social social fees. It covers like pension, health, and like all that kind of stuff. And then they had the 30% on top of that, which means it's around 40-50%. That's kind of, I think it's not that much higher than in other countries. The difference is that since I'm self-employed, I need to pay that myself, which is why it sounds so much higher than normally. So that's the way it is. Oh, Synergist knows my old channel. Yeah, that channel, I don't like it. What games do you play? Echo asks, what games do you play besides Battlefront? Right now, pretty much only H1Z1. I might actually be trying the new Battlegrounds game later tonight, which is like a better version of H1Z1, I think. Yeah, so I'm gonna flick back a little bit. Keep asking questions in the chat, guys, and I'll get back to that because soon I'm running out of questions here, I think. Senate Central asks, why did you choose YouTube to live stream and not Twitch? I prefer YouTube. Honestly, it was because I had all my audience on YouTube. I did some Twitch streams that EA sponsored, and I was like, this is a completely other audience. I don't know anyone here, and except for that sponsored stream, I didn't get a single dollar from it. Like, why would I not just do it on YouTube? I get more viewers, I can get paid for it. And now that I've actually gotten into it, I realized how much you guys like it, because I made some polls a month or two ago when I asked, do you prefer Twitch? Do you prefer YouTube? And like 80% of you said YouTube. And I've gotten used to YouTube now, and now they're adding all of these cool features that match Twitch features, so I really don't see any reason to split my community instead of just doing everything in one place. That's why I prefer YouTube. And this is another interesting question from Scissord. Why are you in that specific MCN? MCN means multi-channel network, which is basically a YouTube network. You've probably heard about Machinima, Maker Studios, but I'm with a Swedish network called United Screens, which is really good. I would say I'm so glad I joined them. Most networks don't do jack shit, and a lot of them scam people into really long contracts where they take like 40% cut, which is ridiculous for the little work they do. But I like them because they are local, which is really rare. Like, they're in Stockholm, 20 minutes from me, so I can go in there for their partner events, parties, actual counseling in face-to-face with my partner manager. They've also hooked me up with some cool opportunities, like when I was the Battlefield 1 caster at the Nordic Creator Challenge, which is like side jobs that I get paid for, which is so cool to get to do. Like, and I'm gonna do some other stuff probably next week that's gonna be all thanks to them, some cool sponsored streams, and they've just done a lot for me, and they helped me out with my channel. I have someone I can contact on Discord, Swedish person who lives in Stockholm, who I can just ask, hey, can you fix this? And boom, he fixes it. Shout out to you, Nicholas, if you're watching. And that's just great, simply. I think that's why there's not gonna be, it's a rare chance I have to have such a good network that's also local to me. That's not that common. And then we have the 3 last questions here on Discord. What's your favorite Star Wars meme from KFM? It has to be everything around the Senate, but mostly I just like, I like when they put, yeah, it's hard to say what favorite Star Wars meme. Probably the shooting stars. I would have to say the shooting stars. That was so perfect. The Palpatine shooting Star Wars meme. If you haven't seen that, you missed out on something. Django's asks, how much Senate would a Senate if a Senate could Senate? A Senate? Also, what are your hopes for the community as a whole when it comes to the next Battlefront? I just, as a community, I hope they will have more community events, stuff we can do together, not just here's a new DLC, that's it, and here's a little community event, a community challenge that takes an hour to fix. Like, I want them to do more stuff that engages us, makes us work together, cool Easter eggs and more small additions and patches all the time. I hope they're gonna treat the post-launch content a lot differently than they did with this game. So that's my hope. And lastly here, before we move over to the chat, are you subscribed to Frankie Doodle? If so, what are your thoughts on his content? No, I'm not. I think that was the guy who was, I don't know, he popped up in my stream and my moderators like banned him, and then he got mad and he sent me a donation that got blocked. So no, I don't really have any relation to him whatsoever. But now let's flick over to so senators, make sure to shoot me all the questions you have left for now in the chat, and we will finish up there. So let's see, where are we going? All right, see you later. Thank you guys. Thank you very much for joining, fellow senator, and see you later. Do you pay sales tax VAT on goods and items too? Yes, that's something we do. Like you gotta, yes, 25%. That's a good thing about having a company though. So I can, if I buy something that costs, let's say 10,000, like if I buy a computer, I can deduct those 20% tax, because I have a company, so I don't need to pay that. So that's one good thing about having, although I need to pay a lot of tax, it means that I don't have to pay tax on the stuff I buy. So that way I oh, sorry about that. So that way I get some of those tax back basically. And I also need, when I sell my, like if I send an invoice to a Swedish company, I need to add tax on that as well. And let's see, I knew it was expensive in those countries. We were thinking of going to Denmark, Sweden for the Speedway World Cup, but it's way too much money. Is it that expensive? I don't know where you're from, Casey Moore, but when I was in the US, it was the same price, if not more expensive. Like, sure, we have a lot of tax and stuff, but I didn't find it to be too expensive, to be honest. Oh, super chat from the Vale. Thank you very much. Glad you're enjoying the Q&A. Mr. Senator, I don't know if the alerts are activated, to be honest. They should be, so hopefully it should pop up. Let's see. There it is. It's
great Q&A.
Thank you very much again. It's a bit delayed, so it's gonna look weird now that you actually see the chat. And but let's see, where were we? What's the next question? Oh yeah, Knappen was a moderator for the Nordic Creator Challenge. It was a lot of fun. Senate Central asks, did DICE say Rogue One is in the next Battlefront? I think EA's executive, whatever it's called, like mentioned Rogue One. I'm not entirely sure. I think so, but I don't think they like just said, hey, this game is gonna have Rogue One content. Which day is the best for you to stream? Asks Echo. It's like, I noticed that Sundays or like weekends in general tends to get a lot more viewers. So that's usually when I try to stream, because as many of you guys can watch it as possible. For me personally, Sundays are great. Like I don't usually do anything on Sunday evenings. Saturdays or Fridays I usually go out or meet friends or whatever. But if I don't, then I can stream, which is why I don't like to say. That's why I do Sundays like pretty much every week, because I know I'm not gonna have something planned. Whereas Fridays and Saturdays I might have something planned. Hello there, cinematic captures. You have a Discord now. Yes, but it's the Senate Discord. Like if you're a senator, you get automatically added. And if anyone who is a senator is watching this right now and isn't in the Discord, make sure to join it, because it's like, let's see, how many people do we have here? If we go to the Senate, I think we have, oh, I don't think I can see that, 21 sponsors in here right now, and there's like 40 of you in total, so it seems like a lot of you haven't joined this yet. What else do we have left? I'm gonna finish up the stream fairly soon, so if you guys have any final questions before we end this month, but don't worry, I'll keep doing this every month. But Ben asks, what is your favorite part in the Battlefront 2 campaign? Ooh, I think that would be Order 66, and seeing a completely different version of how it's portrayed completely differently compared to how it is in the Clone Wars series. So I think that's something that's very interesting story-wise, to be honest. Thank you very much, Knappen, for your work. It's I'm glad it led to some cool stuff like going to DICE, modding EA streams, and so more. It's much appreciated. You deserve it. Hopefully, you guys will have some very cool live streams to moderate this year, I hope. The Death Star was definitely one of the highlights of last year. I was really honored to get the chance to host that stream on my channel, and I'm glad the community liked it so much. I really tried to like think about all the things people asked for and did that during the stream, and it turned out pretty well, except we had some minor technical difficulties that was out of my I couldn't do anything about it simply. And thank you all the moderators, and thank you cinematic captures. I mean, without your thumbnails, I don't know what I would have done. I would have had very ugly thumbnails simply because I'm glad I can give something back by promoting your content and so on. It's a oh, I was thinking about some Star Wars quote. They live in a symbiosis. Wait, did they say that in a Star Wars movie? Symbiosis. Am I thinking about something completely else? I think they say that in Star Wars. Oh, is it Naboo? Is it in the Gungans and Nabooians or whatever you call it? I think so. Annalene asks, have you been invited for the Battlefront 2 alpha yet? I don't have no, the alpha was well, if there is an alpha, it was in like July or late June for the last game, so it's probably not going to be the same time. And basically, if I was invited, I wouldn't answer anything about it simply. I just can't say anything. So yeah. Andrew, you used to start videos with a remix of the Force theme. How come they changed? Is it a legal reason? Yes. I got hit with a massive copyright claim for like 50 or 60 of my videos, including most of my most watched videos. And that was like a remix. As you said, it was a remix. No, it wasn't even a remix. It was fan made from scratch, but it sounded like Star Wars. And they found my channel and went, hey, we're gonna screw you over as much as we can. So they took every single video. I had the 3-second intro, no matter if it's 10 or 20 minutes, and claimed it all. So from now on, no more Star Wars music on my channel unless it's in the game. I'm a partner, a managed partner, which is another good thing about my network, which means that I can't get automatic claims from in-game music that a lot of other people have issues with. But these guys went and manually decided to screw over my channel, and I hate them for that. So yeah, I still need to be careful, even if I'm safe from automatic claims, which is good. And let's see, do we have any more questions before? Oh, hello there, Dave. Are you hyped for Star Wars Celebration? Of course I am. We're gonna hang out a lot, and that's gonna be a lot of fun meeting our fans. I'm really excited. Last year, Gamescom, EA Play, E3, and Star Wars Celebration, I would rank Star Wars Celebration highest, and then probably EA Play, then Gamescom, and then E3 was by far, all of those other three was good, but E3 was a waste. I don't even think I'll go to E3 if I get invited this year. Maybe just to meet some people, like business errands, but I would probably not go to E3. It was so crowded, I just didn't do anything because it sucked, so much people everywhere. I just chilled with Robbie and Ryan in some VIP area we got invited to, and just like had drinks because it was too much people to actually play anything. Casey asked, did you have any further correspondence with them? I'm not really sure what you mean with who, to be honest. Which of your Battlefront video series do you like the most? Asks Echo. In terms of just Mythbusters is probably my favorite in terms of like just the content I put out. I know I've been slacking a bit because they take a bit of time to make, but I'm gonna make another one soon. In terms of just purely recording, I would probably say like you choose my loadout. I think it's a lot of fun to see your creative loadouts, and it's fun to change up my playstyle for my content, and I'm so glad that you guys like those videos. So yeah. How do you edit your videos? And what program do you use? I use Sony Vegas Pro 14 or 13, I don't remember, and then I use Photoshop CS6 to edit thumbnails, and Audacity to record audio, and I use OBS to stream and sometimes record depending on what kind of recording, and I use Elgato HD60 Pro to stream and record as well. Like I use that hardware, so yeah, we're definitely gonna do a big meal, Dave. Like we'll do a huge meetup. I have so much people I know that are going there that I'm gonna meet up with. E3 is public this year. It's gonna be even worse. Like I'm not even gonna go to E3 because all the games I'm interested in are gonna be at EA Play anyways. So yeah, I think that's gonna wrap up. That was actually a 50-minute Q&A. That's a lot longer than the previous Q&As, but I do like this system a lot more than the previous one we did with Patreon. This worked a lot better. Wait, what program did you start editing with when you started with YouTube? Sony Vegas. I've always used Sony Vegas. Because I think, well, probably the absolutely first thing I did was, I think it was always been Sony Vegas. Which stream gives you more fun to do, H1 or Battlefront? Oh, that's tough to say. It's very mixed. Sometimes H1 can be more fun because it's more like intense, but sometimes it can just be annoying that games are buggy and it can be slow, and then I like Battlefront more. But at this point, it's more like H1 is a bit more new. Battlefront, I've played everything I've done basically. But I'm so freaking excited for the next game. Streaming the alpha. I'm gonna stream every single day. Hopefully the alpha will be open. The alpha for Battlefront was not open, so you couldn't stream or record it. But the alpha for Battlefield 1 was open, or not open, but you could stream it. So I really hope that they will have it open this time. Alright, Senate Central, see you later. Take care. But I think that's probably gonna wrap up the stream. Again, thank you very much, Andrew, and thank you to all my moderators. Thank you so much to all senators for joining me and for your support. We're actually at 40 senators, which is really cool considering I've just had this feature for a couple of weeks. It's really nice to get. I'm so overwhelmed by your support. I appreciate it a lot. Alpha confirmed. Yeah, I keep saying that alpha is confirmed because they've had it for like every game they've released for the last 5 years. So I would be surprised if they didn't have one. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching, and as always, may the force be with you.